What if the thing you're avoiding is actually the thing that will set you free? In week 4 of The Artist's Way, we step into the hardest moments. Have you ever had life try and get your attention? Maybe it's a whisper, or maybe, like me, it's a lightning bolt. Literally. 2 years ago, we landed at my aunt's house, living in a tent in her backyard. And one night, the lightning cracked right above our heads. And looking back, I can see that that was the beginning of this chapter. The beginning of new upheaval. Sometimes the body whispers, and sometimes it screams. And sometimes it literally takes being stung in both the nipples and then being covered in poison oak to get the message. This is a story about what happens when you override your own rhythm. And it's a story about how we come back to it. But really, it's not just my story. It's all of ours. Because I think the rhythm we're all craving isn't the one that they're selling us. When we move from nourishment instead of deprivation, we shift our perspective on how we feed our body and our souls. Maybe the work right now, individually and collectively, is to come back to that. We will be recovering a sense of integrity and coming back to who we really are. It may not be what you expect. Julia invites us this week to explore solitude. And here's the thing. Solitude isn't a luxury. It's a requirement. We all need windows of time in our own energy fields. Enough space to let our nervous systems breathe. Enough distance to actually hear ourselves think. Without it, we can't see clearly. We can't feel what's ours to feel and what's somebody else's emotion. We need that space to get back in touch with who we are. I used to think finding 5 minutes was a win. Now I know that 5 minutes isn't enough. We need real solitude. We can finally start to see who we really are. But that's scary. And in motherhood, I'm learning delegation is just as essential. It's not indulgent. It's a leadership skill. Whether you're raising a child, building a career, or holding a household together, solitude is not the problem. Solitude is the solution. The self I find in solitude is the self I bring back to the people I love. When we reconnect with ourselves, our true tastes begin to return. The morning pages press us to answer. What else? What do I really want? What we want becomes what I want, because what I want is clearly defined in my mind. Because when we meet our true selves, we remember what we love. The more we write, the more the illusions break down. This is the week we often put the pages down because the truth is getting too loud. But what if you didn't stop? What if this was the break through the glass ceiling? And this is where I thought I was ready. I had done this journey once before. I thought I would sail through week 4 this time. After the move, I landed and I let my morning pages slip. The structures I had in place to claim my own space seemed out of reach. I thought I'd have all this space. I thought I'd have my mornings. I thought I'd slide right back into rhythm. I underestimated the post-move crash. And sometimes when you've built your life on choices you've already said yes to, like parenthood, work, the creative projects, the rhythm doesn't feel like an option. But it is. There's always a way back to rhythm. Sometimes it starts with coming back to the pages. Sometimes it starts with coming back to the breath. This week, Julia introduces reading deprivation. So when she's talking reading deprivation and staying away from the media, this was 20 years ago, pre-advent of the doom scroll. Today, the pull or the addiction to media is so strong. Our sensitive bodies weren't designed for this. Imagine a week without the news. Imagining not experiencing that pull from your phone. A week without consuming the emotional roller coaster the world is today. When I stopped consuming news at the beginning of 2021, was another layer of healing my nervous system from the burnout. Our bodies were never designed for this constant barrage of information. From an evolutionary standpoint, We're only designed to consume information as fast as our feet can carry us. 100 years ago, we started to receive information into our homes faster than we ever had before with the advent of the radio. Now, we're shifting emotional states every 3 seconds. It's no wonder we're burnt out. Our sensitive hormonal bodies don't differentiate from the guy climbing in the bushes behind me to the bomb on your screen, sending signals to our bodies to be on alert before we even eat breakfast. The more you resist stepping away from the flood, the more you probably need to. And the more you resist coming back to the morning pages again, you resist to sitting still in the morning, the more you probably need that too. This is about rhythm. This is about finding purpose in this lifetime. This is about living in the offense instead of always landing in the defense. I've come to learn that creating more than I consume is one of the most powerful ways I can come back to myself and to my connection with Source. But I know every human's rhythm is different. I'm here to invite you to listen to yourself and find out what yours is. When you do choose to consume, do it with purpose. I like to call it conscious consumption. Have a reason before you open the app, before you read the headline, before you start to scroll. If you're consuming to learn, laugh, find connection, beautiful. But if you're consuming because it's in front of you, because you're bored, that's where the loop tightens. I've taken entire months off of news and media, and I didn't lose awareness. I gained clarity. If you want to go deeper, try stepping away from media. Julia Cameron introduces this practice to do it for a week. But in my years of habit building, I find that 30 days to 90 days is really the golden sweet spot. That 30 days allows you to get past the cycles and the loops that bring you back in an unconscious way. Let yourself feel what comes up in the silence. Notice the resistance. See what shifts for you when you stop feeding the loop. And trust, the world has a way of getting big news to you. Whether you hear it standing in line at the grocery store, your mom tells you, or a friend calls you, you will hear what matters. You don't have to stay hooked to the feed to stay connected to the world. One of the most powerful things I've learned along this journey is that the body always tells the truth. Even when I try to outrun it, even when I tell myself I can keep going, I've done this before, where I override the signals. And I've done this more times than I'd like to admit. We just moved, and I was ready to get back to work. And there's a part of me that loves to grind. And intuition doesn't lie. And this time, it wasn't subtle. I had gone out in the yard to clear some poison oak. I had already felt the warning the day before. The bees had already told me, "You're done for the day. Go back inside." And I had listened for a minute, but the next day I came back out again. I'll just get this done. I had pushed too far. My gut had already told me to go back inside. But I was like, if I just get this one spot, and that's when the bee stung me. I'm not talking a bee. I'm talking swarm of bees. Both arms, both nipples at the same time. I know this sounds ridiculous, but at the moment, it was another lightning bolt. It was another wake-up moment. It was another surrender. Like life saying, I told you to stop. I told you to listen. I stubbornly did not. And it's funny now, because I've had these moments so many times now, these little life lessons that I could have narrated it to you before it even happened. I could tell this story like a warning, but the truth is, I don't regret these moments. These are the moments that ingrain these lessons in deeply, because sometimes we need to be stung awake. And maybe you don't get stung by bees or have lightning crack over your head. Maybe your wake-up call comes as a migraine. Maybe it comes as a phone call you didn't expect. But the invitation is the same. What are you overriding? Where are you forcing something that actually wants to rest? And where can you come back to your rhythm, not as punishment, not as discipline, but as devotion? How can we build habits that hold us, not just when we feel good, but also for when we feel exhausted? And I don't think discipline has to be the hard thing. I think it can be a soft thing. I think it can create safety in our nervous system. It's the thing that holds you gently when life gets crunchy. And for me, that's what my mornings are. Yoga, breath, and the morning pages. It's not about productivity. It's a rhythm I come back to. They're a soft container I build to hold me. When I don't give myself the still point of meditation, when I don't go through the movement and the flow and move the energy through my body, the pages can start to feel like they're spinning. Because meditation is still, is the present moment. It's the masculine in its containment. It's structure. The morning pages, on the other hand, are the opposite of structure. They're the all of everything. They're the past. They're the future. They're a very feminine being. When I cut myself off from the grounding, my pages lost their anchor. They started to spin instead of clear. And I can feel that collectively right now as well. We're all already in the mind too much. And I'm wondering how many of us are trying to write our way out of something when we really need to sit still with it. That's what my morning routine is for me. It's not just the morning pages. It's a container that I allow to be flexible and fluid and move with the seasons and move with how I'm feeling over time. And sometimes part of that rhythm is listening to when it's out of balance. It's a rhythm that holds my feminine swirl. And when I let go of that rhythm, the swirl can take over me. And that's okay. It's not failure. It's life. And it's an invitation to return. It's the invitation to start again. You can always come back to yourself. You can always come back to the rhythm. The whole world is spinning. We're all saturated. We're all burnt out. I don't think the answer is more discipline. I don't think the answer is try harder. I think the answer is rhythm and consciousness. I'm talking about the rhythm that actually fits you, who you are as a creative being and creative human in this world. Not just a life where you're performing roles because you think you should be. And I wonder what would shift if more of us reclaimed our rhythm. We're not meant to always be on. We're meant to move in seasons, in cycles, in pulses. Maybe this isn't just my work. Maybe this is our work. Now, this is the part of the video where everybody tells you how to sit down and rebuild your morning routine, or how I sat down and rebuilt my morning routine. But you don't need my checklist. I think you need your rhythm. I think maybe we find that rhythm by asking better questions. So I want to leave you with this. When do you feel most like yourself? When does your body say yes? When does your body say no? What happens when you create more than you consume? And maybe you know your rhythm already. Maybe you're still building it. Maybe you've lost it and you're just starting to come back. Wherever you are, I'd love to hear from you. Share your rhythm with us in the comments, or keep it sacred to yourself. I'll be here, listening. Let's build this together. So if you feel like you've been walking away from the wreck of your old life, if you feel like you don't even have the car to drive anymore, Julia says to just keep walking. The road is still there. Welcome to Athena Rose Art, where we tune into our creative rhythm together.
That's a wrap, folks.
So itchy. I'm itchy, and there's loud trucks in the background. Just going with the flow and listen to the universe slowing me down, slowing me down. Listen to the universe slowing me down with loud trucks with sounds slowing me down. We'll get there. Don't worry, friends. We'll get there.
Yay, the truck is leaving!